Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from Key Largo. It is Friday, March the 13th, Friday the 13th, and just just an update title. It's the Corona shows, the shows. Oh my God, I'm slurring. I am about to begin a double shift at work. I'm going to the Catch Restaurant in Key Largo. We will be doing, I'll be in there from open to close. Over the past 2 weeks, I notice a distinct shift in the amount of business we normally have in the busy season. We're right in the middle of it right now where we should be seeing a lot of traffic and we don't see it. It's been very similar to the off season. Not quite. I've heard people say that their places were still busy, but that has changed recently. Yesterday I was out on the road. It's still busy. There's a lot of traffic going south and north, but there's a lot of locals out at the supermarket doing some panic buying, as people have a tendency to blame the media. But what are you going to do? You know, if you have something that is viral out there, and if you don't do anything about it, then as a media, if you're not suggesting anything to do about it, then you're not doing your job. And then people are getting on the media for making too much of it, and then they're reporting on the way people react to it. And the biggest reaction was the huge sell-off yesterday on the stock market, where it has been the biggest drop in the stock market since 1987. So that's 33 years ago. I have a feeling, I didn't turn on the television yet today. It is currently 5:09 and we are doing a live show, that there will be I don't know if it'll be similar. The Fed injected 1.5 or is in the process of a 2-day injection of $1.5 trillion into the markets. A lot of people don't understand the basis for the Fed. The Fed is a promissory note issued by our pseudo private public bank that issues currency. And when you issue 1.5 trillion into the markets, if you did it into the economy, it would cause really crazy inflation, because that's what happened in a lot of places, like prior to years before World War II in Germany, the way it is in Venezuela, the way it was at one time in Argentina, where you just have hyperinflation. And hyperinflation is when day to day there's mass fluctuation, and it's usually upwards, where $10 one day is worth, let's say you could buy something with $10 worth of goods, and then the next day you'll need $100 to buy it. And then it goes up, and they start issuing currencies in like the 10 billion range, where it's worth like a dollar bill. And that's hyperinflation, and it's multiples. But I know I'm going to get the minutia out there. Panic is a perception of the public. And right now, when I went to the supermarket, yes, it is true, there was very little toilet paper in there. And it's funny, I walked by, I saw a 6-pack of a particular brand I saw, and I did purchase it just to have it. And I purchased some other goods just in case, but I got what I did buy. What my intention was to buy the food I needed for today or that day for my wife and daughter. And there were a lot of people in the supermarket and a lot of locals in there purchasing. I think we're going to be seeing 2 days ago, the administration made an announcement that all European travel will be curtailed from 26 countries in the European Union, excluding United Kingdom and Ireland. But we get a significant, probably about 20% of our visitors to South Florida are from outside the United States and South America and European Union. I don't know why necessarily they would just do the European Union, because I think South America would be rife for the spread of coronavirus, because they haven't mentioned that they're doing any testing, because it's in the places where it's not showing up right now. It's most likely the reason it's probably out there almost any place that is reached to by air travel. And there's probably remote villages in different places in the world where it hasn't reached yet. But it's the testing that puts the highlight on where it is. It's not there. So currently, we're not even testing every place in America at this time. So it's out there. So, but the panic itself, that's the thing. It's a perception of people with the market, stuff like that. The fundamentals of the economy are still strong, but it's the perception of the people selling off, and investors are like lemons when it comes to driving the market. Eventually, I would suppose that with the extra closings that are occurring, that it will go even further south. I wouldn't be surprised if it drops below 18,000 by next week. But it will probably be a slow claw back. And just because the value of a stock has dropped low doesn't mean it can't come back. So once everything has closed, and once there's a 2-week, and then in the hottest places where, let's say Washington State, this is just a speculation that Washington State will be the first to recover since it was first to be hit, and they're instituting their, I hesitate to say, draconian measures, closing the schools, quarantining people, and things like that. So here in the Keys, as I said, I saw the supermarket. The roads today are slower. In South Florida, we not only the foreign travelers, we get people from other parts of Florida and other states. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a decent segment of people that will not travel. They're reluctant to go away from home during the, whatever you want to call it. I hesitate to even call it an epidemic, but there's not that many people that listen to this show anyway. So hopefully you'll just take decent precautions. Obviously, if you were to come down with something, you'd rather do it closer to home, because, even if you can go to a hospital, it's better to be in your own bed than in some hotel room, and to have the support of your local, support group, whether it's your family, friends, neighbors, and things like that. So I'm preparing to go to work. The local schools down here are preparing to go into spring break. Prediction, better than 50-50 chance that they probably won't open the schools back at the end of spring break. Things will get worse before they get better down here. But the idea that we're doing something about it will perhaps slow down panic, and people can start putting their faith in a little recovery. When I talk about recovery, I talk about the economy, the faith in our institutions, and our neighbors, and society as a whole. So I'm going out there today. I'll give another update during the day. I'm doing this on the Extras podcast, so as not to dilute the tens and tens of people who listen to the regular shows. Now, I'm sorry, this is actually in the thousands now, and I don't mean to belittle the people that, I guess I'm not belittling people. I'm making it even more special if you do listen to this. But we're going to sign off. We'll try to do something interesting. I still look at funny stuff going on today, and there's still humor out there, even in the midst of whatever you want to call this. And I hate to even call it that. And yes, it is numbers. There are more people dying of other things. But the thing is that the mortality rate is about double or 4 times as much. Well, maybe multiple times. It's I've heard that the regular flu is 0.1% mortality rate, and the coronavirus has a 3 something percent, but that may 3.5, anywhere from 2 to 3.5. And from the difference between 0.1% and 2%, if you know your math, is about 20. And I hear a lot of people screwing up their math, doing it on Facebook. If they really won't know what the mortality rate is, the fatality rate is, until they know how many people got it in the end and how many people died. So right now, they're probably only testing the people that get sick. So if you're not testing everyone, you're not testing the people that don't get the effects. So that would drop the mortality rate. So before we let this get out of hand, just keep on doing what you have to do. Stay strong. Don't panic. Follow good sense rules about wash your hands, social distancing, maybe not shaking hands, not touching your face as you go around, walking around, touching things and stuff like that. And just practice good habits, healthy living, get plenty of rest. This is Jim the Keys Bartender signing off. Let's play that music.